Come, everyone, and gather around. I shall tell you a tale that was told to me by the Robots 3. During my travels, I have come across many wondrous and awesome things, but never before had I met a mechanical man. It was within a tavern when I witnessed the magnificent engineering skills possessed by the Walter Corporation. Upon the stage stood 3 metallic bards who sang and played in splendid tones. Their songs lifted the dreary veil, that which was casted over the damp and dank tavern. I seated myself close to the stage and continued to listen to their stories. After some time, the trio ended their show and began to leave. It was then that I made my way to them and introduced myself. We spoke for what seemed like hours. They told of their travels and fares. They spoke of such wondrous places, my imagination burned feverishly. Yet, despite all that, it wasn't until the topic of otherworldly things did my ears truly catch fire. One of the mechanized fellows, the one named Bunny, I believe, began to tell me a tale. One that I would soon find to be more than just myth. This is the story of the Red Suspender Man. One moonlit night, upon the bayou she walked. Through the murky water she strolled, observing nature and all its splendor. She noted that the gators had a certain pantsless glee about them. This anecdotal remark had no bearing with me, at least until I saw what I had. Yet Bunny continued on, and as she ventured forth, she began to hear the melodic chords of an instrument. The tunes resonated within her, and she began to scout. Bunny had finally found the source of the mysterious tones. Upon a big, long log sat a man. He had, in her opinion, the biggest red suspenders she had ever seen. The suspendered man held within his grasp a very old and worn banjo. It was with this instrument that he produced such provocative notes. Bunny waved to the man and introduced herself, and yet the man said nothing. He had stayed silent until Bunny asked why he was out, all by his lonesome. The man flipped the brim of his hat, and he spoke.
Mr. Robot, I am the Suspender Man. And this banjo, it had shown me the promised land. Now, I'll play you a song, but in return, you put that shiny coin right here in my urn, and I'll play you something fine. My music is gonna blow your mind.
And Bunny, without hesitation, she flipped the copper coins into his urn. The man began to pluck his strings, and belched a fearsome giggle.
Ho, 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 ho.
He began to tap his foot, and with it began to conjure up unholy sounds. It truly was not like anything she had ever seen before. Bunny grew silent for a moment. She looked over to me and asked if it were wise to continue on. I gave no objections, for my curious nature salivated for more. Her companions, however, urged her to be cautious, and with that, she continued her story. It had seemed to have mesmerized her in a way nothing had ever done before, so much so that it wasn't until he told her that she needed to pay for more for the songs that her trance subsided. She looked over to him, only to find his face cracked open with a ghoulishly large grin. As she reached into her pocket, she began to notice that people began to appear from almost out of nowhere. They marched through the violet-colored fog and began to toss coins into the urn. The Suspender Man began to play furiously. For hours and hours he played, as more and more souls began to appear. Coin after coin was tossed into the urn, and he continued to play. Bunny looked around and saw that everyone had the same look about them. They were all enthralled by this man's spell, and could do nothing but dance. Men, women, children, they all gathered around and danced. They danced until they were red in the face. They danced until their feet began to blister and bleed. And many began to fall, from exhaustion no less. Truly, it was a horrific scene. It was with this that Bunny had stopped talking. Though she was mechanical in nature, her face grew tempered and distraught. "Please," I begged, "I must know more." I pleaded with her for some time until she gave in. Truly, I was fortunate, or so I had thought at the time, that the whereabouts of this man had been so very close. And without so much as a goodbye, I ran from the tavern and began my trek into the violet fog. For an hour or so I walked, keeping my ears open, hoping to hear the wondrous tone. Then I heard it, the most angelic of strums, rhythmically dancing in my head. Instinctively, I began to run. Closer and closer I got. Louder and louder the music played. My face began to light up as each step brought me closer to the sound. Yes, finally, I could see the shadowy figure sitting upon the log. Yes, yes, yes. Finally, I pierced the veil of fog, and to my joyous dismay, I saw him, the red Suspender Man, still playing his amazing banjo. And with him danced the many, many gaunt and sickly faces of his patrons. Who they truly were, I could not say. Their skin, where it had not rotted off or torn, had been caked with mold. Insects festered and feasted within them. These, I had assumed, were the same townsfolk that had paid for their songs, oh, so long ago. No one had been spared. Not men, not women, not children. Without hesitation, I pulled out my coin purse and walked over to the urn. I untied the bag, and from it a waterfall of silver fell into the overrun pot. A stream of tears began to roll down my face for every clink of coin that sounded. I walked past the man who continued to strum his unholy instrument, his jagged teeth still protruding from his fiendish smile. And so, with a smile on my face, tears streaming, and my heart shattered, I began to dance, and dance. And as I did, just like with all the others, a pair of big, red suspenders grew from my shoulders and onto my pants. I suppose I get it now. Wearing pants truly does bite, and I suppose if I wore a dress, I'd truly have no need. I don't know how long I had danced, for it all felt like a dream. But when I awoke, it was sometime in the spring. The events that took place during that time are still muddled, but I do owe a great deal of gratitude to my robotic friends. They truly saved my life. For what reason, I know not, but I live, and that's all that matters. Though my flesh and bone are now metallic, and my soul replaced with electricity, I still long to see the world. Life is funny like that, I suppose. Well, I truly hope you enjoyed my tale. If you wish to hear another, however, I'll have to ask that you place a coin or two into this urn. Hey you, Ghostpaw here, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much for watching tonight's video. I'd like to give a very big special thank you and shout out to Steam Powered Giraffe, who allowed me the privilege of creating this video. If you haven't heard of them before, I highly recommend that you go down to the description below and find a link to their show. They are one of my all-time favorite bands and created such wonderful songs. I have also linked down the song that created this story. If you haven't already, please do make sure that you at least check them out. It would mean so much to me and them. And when you do, be sure to let them know that Ghostpaw sent you. I'm sure they'd truly appreciate it. So, thank you so much to all my friends down at Steam Powered Giraffe. I had such a fun time creating this video. But, as always, if you liked tonight's story, be sure to hit that like button, share with your friends, leave me a comment, and be sure to subscribe so you can catch more of these spooky tales. And remember, Ghostpaw is always hunting, and it might just be hunting you.